states, presidents, and also representatives to crown Raila Odinga as a bold, visionary, and steadfast Pan-Africanist whose professional and technocratic credentials make him the ideal candidate for the African Union Commission chair position, kicking off campaigns proper. You can find that story on page 4, 6, and also 7 of the Standard newspaper. Also, Raila's big day. We can see that the leaders they met at State House yesterday to show their support. East African leaders to show their support for Mr. Raila Odinga. And let me just quote what the president had to say. Raila enjoys a sterling reputation as a zealous Pan-Africanist who has demonstrated a strong faith in continent's possibilities and a commitment to laying a robust foundation for transformation in our time. And of course, let me quote what Raila Odinga, the AUC chair candidate, had to say. I believe in the story of the African lion. I'm sitting on African gold, oil, diamonds, iron, and copper ores, and I have the ability to transform all these materials that I have into wealth for the benefit of my people. End of quote. Let me just quote what also the deputy president had to say regarding Gachagua. Deputy President, let me just quote. Today we are going to unveil the transformation of Raila Odinga from a national leader to an African statesman. And for us, in leadership, we have learned great lessons of resilience, endurance, and perseverance. And of course, Salva Kiir, the South Sudan president, let me quote, as chairman of the EAC, I strongly appeal to the region to rally behind Raila. Let us talk to our friends across the continent. He is the one to lead us in that big battle for prosperity, and is the candidate who is fit for this job. Yoweri Museveni, the Uganda president. Let me quote what he had to say. Before I came to Nairobi, that is, there was a young man from Djibouti who came to say he was their candidate. Of course, I greeted him warmly, but I told him I was coming to support Raila because he is the candidate fit for the job. And of course, and also Samia Suluhu, the president for Tanzania. My government fully endorses Raila Odinga's candidacy for chairperson of the AU Commission. He is a Pan-Africanist leader, well acquainted with the development concerns of our continent. End of quote. Yes.
And I remember that the elections will be on in February 2025. And Raila Odinga is facing opposition from Djibouti Foreign Affairs Minister Mahamoud Ali Yosu. Also, we have Mauritius Foreign Minister Anil Kumasing Gayan, and Richard James Randrimadra from Madagascar. And the way we just said earlier, that President William Ruto yesterday officially unveiled Raila Odinga's candidature as, president candidate for the AU chairmanship. And the Kenyan government yesterday asserted its influence by rallying the support of the East African Community, that is EAC, as it unveiled Mr. Raila Odinga's candidacy for chairperson of the African Union Commission. And EAC chairperson and South Sudan, who's also South Sudan president, that is Salva Kiir, led the regional presidents in endorsing Mr. Odinga for the continental position. And in attendance, we had Yoweri Museveni from Uganda, Samia Suluhu from Tanzania, and as well as Burundi Prime Minister, that is Gavis Ndirakobuka, and Rwanda's Foreign Affairs Minister James Kabarebe, representing President Paul Kagame. And they also declared their country's support for Mr. Odinga. And speaking at the event, President Ruto also conveyed apologies from Somali President Hassan Sheikh Mohammed, underscored the region's shared commitment to integration. He said it was important to mobilize effective collective union for the benefit of the citizens of the regional countries and the entire African continent. And I just want to quote what President William Ruto said: "Our Eastern African region, which is home to more than 500 million people, rightly considers this moment to be its turn to offer leadership on the basis of the principle of interregional rotation." And he continues saying that, and I quote, "I am encouraged by the fact that more than ever, our region's leadership is alive to the complexity and dynamism of the challenges which form the regional and broader international context of our Pan-African moment." End of quote. Also at the ceremony, the president unveiled a campaign secretariat which will be led by Kenya's Foreign Affairs Principal Secretary Korir Sing'oei and former ambassador to the United States Elkanah Odembo, and Mr. Odinga's campaign website.
Yes, so we can see the same story is also here. Raila's big day as regional leaders back his AUC chairmanship bid. Yeah, Ruto, East African heads of state described Raila a Pan-Africanist and ideal candidate. Also, Raila says he is an Afro-optimist and calls for unity in climate change negotiations. So Raila, regional leaders yesterday crowned Azimio leader Raila Odinga as a visionary Pan-Africanist and the ideal candidate for the African Union Commission chairmanship. In what officially launches his campaign for the continental seat, President William Ruto idolized Raila as a leader with extensive experience and a deep understanding of African affairs and global dynamics. Yes, these attributes, said Ruto at the function at State House yesterday, are crucial for leading the African Union into the center of global affairs. Also, let us look at Raila's promises if he is going to be elected. He said if elected, Raila promised to unite the continent so that Africans were not described as Anglophones and Francophones, saying they should be seen as Africophones.
Not Anglophone and Francophone.
Exactly. So he is going to unite Africa into one. Let me also quote what he said yesterday. "I am ready to serve. My heart is ready and my hands are steady. I am made in East Africa for Africa. I have said that I am an Afro-optimist as opposed to the Afro-pessimist. Afro-pessimists are those people who have given up on Africa, who say Africa is a lost cause and a wasted continent." Yes, he noted that Africa was suffering from droughts and floods, yet the continent emitted very little of the carbon that is polluting the world. That is why we've seen his interest in the climate change and also in climate change negotiations. And he also promised to look into that matter as well.
Yeah, also Dr. Ruto described Mr. Odinga as a celebrated statesman whose longevity in leadership has been sustained by an unrelenting devotion to democratic change as the foundation of a sustainable freedom and prosperity. Also, our Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, said an arch-rival of Mr. Odinga on Kenya's political scene, described the launch as a great moment for our country. And I just want to quote what he said. And I quote, "We are here to unveil Kenya's finest, to go and lead Africa. The people of Kenya have been united behind Raila to be AUC chair, and Africa, our motherland, deserves the best." End of quote.
Yes, and also remember that the AUC race, Raila is facing 4 other opponents as well. And remember that Raila is this close to making history as the first East African leader to win the seat. So if he wins the seat, he will make history and he will become the first East African leader to win the seat.
Yes, and currently we have 25 countries in Africa who support Raila Odinga's AU chairmanship bid. So we hope that other countries are going to back Raila on his AU chairmanship. And also the way the president spoke yesterday, and also the people behind, you know, Raila Odinga's campaign promised that they are going to do their level best at lobbying and making sure that Raila Odinga's clutches the seat.
Yes, and also remember that the East African countries are going to support Raila Odinga because so that they can show East African unity. Yes, because it will be bad that a member came from the East Africa and they were not able to vote. The East African countries themselves were not able to vote for him.
Yes, and I remember last time when we had a candidate here in the country, that was Amina Mohamed, when former President Uhuru Kenyatta endorsed her. There were claims that some presidents from East Africa did not vote for Amina Mohamed. So I hope this time, the way they've just promised, they even came yesterday, they were in the country, and they promised that they are going to support Raila Odinga. So I hope that they are going to do just that. You know, something will not change along the way, and they decide maybe to vote for the candidate from Djibouti. And also Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi said Mr. Odinga embodies the ideals of a people-centered visionary leadership that the AUC needs. And he said he's a leader who has tirelessly championed the cause of Africa unity and progress, unwaveringly espousing the principle of Think Africa Above All. His commitment to the ideals of Agenda 2063, the Africa we want, is resolute, and his vision for an integrated, prosperous and peaceful continent is one we fully support. That is according to Mr. Mudavadi, who's the Prime Cabinet Secretary and also the Foreign and Diaspora Affairs Cabinet Secretary.
Yes, and I want us to just look a bit into the 2017 bid of Amina Mohamed. Do you think that if we compare the two, the Prime Minister, the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga is more popular when it comes to Africa and also African issues due to his history in politics and even around Africa, and also due to his father's history? Our dear viewers, you can also tell us what you think. Do you think that maybe Amina Mohamed wasn't that popular when it came to African issues? And also we've also seen the president, the current President Ruto, also going all out to campaign for Raila Odinga as well. Do you think that that one also has contributed to the current support that he has for the AUC seat? Yes. So let me just read here. The AUC is the African Union Secretariat and undertakes the day-to-day activities of the Union. It is based in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. The chairperson of the commission is the Chief Executive Officer, a legal representative of the African Union, and the Chief Accounting Officer as well. Following a failed bid to secure the AUC seat in 2017, Kenya has so far mounted its strongest campaign yet, and there are indications that it could emerge the victor. So far, Raila enjoys the support of 19 states, among them Uganda, Tanzania, Democratic Republic of the Congo, and also there's Somalia, Burundi, Rwanda, and South Africa. With the election slated for February, Raila needs to have secured another 15 countries to bring his total to 34 countries to guarantee a first round win. This represents at least 2/3 2/3 votes from the African Union members. Yeah, government sources who spoke to the Standard further revealed that out of the 55 countries, African countries, 7 are ineligible to vote owing to a myriad of issues such as poor governance, while others are reeling from effects of a coup. This means that only 48 states are eligible to vote, and that Africa has the support of 25 out of 48. Yes, so our dear viewers, you can also tell us, do you think that the former Prime Minister and the Azimio la Umoja leader, Raila Odinga, is going to secure the African Union Commission seat?
Yes, and also while Raila needs Francophone vote, so Kenya officially unveiled him as the AUC chair candidate. And expert warn Prime Minister could be caught in the web that in the AU politics. And also there's a picture of President William Ruto and Mr. Raila Odinga, who was officially unveiled as Kenya's candidate for the AUC chairperson position at State House, Nairobi, yesterday. So when we talk about Anglophone and Francophone, you should know that Francophone are those countries that were majorly colonized by the France, and also they speak French. And we have Anglophone. These are countries that were colonized by England, and also they speak English. So out of the 54 countries, African countries, Anglophone, we have 24 Anglophone countries, and we have 28 Francophone countries, and these make up to 2/3 of the member states of the AU. And also we have other official languages of the AU are Portuguese and Arabic. So you should know that we have 54 African countries, and Anglophone we have 24 countries out of 54, and 28 Francophone countries. And also we have other countries that speak Arabic and Portuguese as well. So the divide between Anglophone and Francophone at the African Union could play a key role at next year's elections of chairmanship of the African Union Commission, experts warn. And also yesterday, Raila Odinga, who's now the AUC candidate, said that he's going to make sure that there is no division in African Union, between the Francophone countries and also the Anglophone countries, that this division will really play a big role in the voting process. And Kenyans unveiled former Prime Minister Raila Odinga as the country's candidate for the chairmanship of the African Commission yesterday at State House, Nairobi, and exposed the country to the dynamics between these two groups of states. And you should remember that the elections will be held in February 2025, and the winner will replace outgoing chair, that is Mr. Musa Faki Mohammed. And EAC chairman in South Sudan, President Salva Kiir, and also Tanzania President Samia Suluhu Hassan, and Uganda Yoweri Museveni graced the event, signaling strong support for Mr. Odinga in the EAC. So it is never admitted publicly, but the divide between Anglophones and Francophones still at times besits the corridors of AU in Addis Ababa. And according to Dr. Kizito Sabala, who's a lecturer at the University of Nairobi Department of Diplomacy and International Studies, he said that the Anglophone and the Francophone divide in Africa is definitely going to influence Raila's candidature. And I just want to quote what he said in a quote: "This is because since independent, the AU, the first division, has always been between the Anglophone and the Francophone. And therefore, if the Anglophone are going to rally behind Raila and the Francophone rally behind a French-speaking candidate, then that is going to define the vote on that is going to divide the vote on the continent." End of quote. And also you should know that Djibouti candidate, that is Djibouti Foreign Affairs Minister Mohamed Ali Yusuf from Djibouti, and on the Horn of Africa, which is mostly French and Arabic speaking country. We have Mauritius Foreign Minister Anil, it's also a francophone country, and also I think Madagascar, they speak French. So this is really going to define Mr. Raila's elections.
Yes, and also remember that Mr. Raila yesterday he came out and he spoke and he said it is not good, and he will make sure that Africans are not divided as Anglophones and Francophones. Yes. Also, I want us to look at how Raila's bid for the African Union Commission chairmanship is going to affect the Kenyan politics and also the coming elections in 2027.
Yes, and also remember that Raila Odinga said that he has exited the local politics to focus on his AUC chairmanship.
Yes, so the former Prime Minister leaves to war African countries for the AUC seat. Also, President to camp in Raila's bedroom for 4 days. Yeah, it is now official. There is no turning back for Raila Odinga, who must shift his focus entirely to his bid for the chairperson of the African Union Commission over the next 5 months and step away from local politics. Yeah, but before he departs, President William Ruto will today kickstart the push to inherit Raila's constituency, which the ODM founder has held in a stranglehold for 19 years. Wow, that is remarkable. Also, following yesterday's consummation of what could be Kenya's biggest political marriage, whose reception was held at the State House and attended by 3 presidents from East Africa and also 1 prime minister and 2 former heads of state, the cake-eating ceremony now shifts to Nyanza. Here, President Ruto is expected to come for 4 days, barely 36 hours after he attended the homecoming of former ODM party leader Wycliffe Oparanya. Let me just quote, word on the street is that ODM and the UDA alliance could merge to form a formable team ahead of the 2027 general elections. Yeah, because we've seen Raila Odinga, the former prime minister, and the current president coming into terms, and also something that is called like the handshake, but it's the formation of the broad-based government. So ODM and UDA are expected maybe to form an alliance in the coming 2027 elections. But also remember that some of the leaders of the ODM party, we've seen them coming and disagreeing with the alliance and also the formation of the broad-based government leaders like Babu Owino, the Embakasi MP.
Yes, and they've insisted that they are still in Azimio la Umoja and they are not in the Kenya Kwanza government.
Yes, and also let us look at the political significance and what observers had to say. Observers say yesterday's launch of the African Union Commission Chair's candidacy bid was a symbolic Ruto-Raila political marriage. Also, as Raila shifts focus to the Africa stage, President Ruto today is going to kickstart a push to inherit the political base of the former Prime Minister, Raila Odinga's areas. Also, we can see already whispers in political corridors hint at a possible alliance between the ODM and the UDA parties ahead of 2027 general elections. And also remember that yesterday as well, the Wiper party leader Kalonzo Musyoka came out and spoke, and he said he is the leader of Azimio la Umoja, starting from yesterday, and he was backed by the support of the Embakasi MP, Babu Owino, and also Eugene Wamalwa as well.
Yeah, and Secretary General of Jubilee, that is Jeremiah Kioni. Yeah, so you should know that Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka has declared himself as the Azimio la Umoja leader, and also he has been endorsed by some of the Azimio la Umoja core principles. But also remember that NARC Kenya leader, that is Martha Karua, has already exited the Azimio la Umoja. So maybe And she's going to come back now that Azimio la Umoja has a new leader.
Yes.
So remember, you can interact with us. Our social media handles are Faraja TV Kenya. That is Facebook, YouTube, Faraja TV Media, TikTok, faraja.tv.kenya. You can also send us an SMS. Our SMS number is 070333 9959. Also, don't forget to tell us your name and where you're watching us from. And what do you think about Raila Odinga AUC candidature? What do you think about Raila Odinga AUC candidature? And two other stories now. Another story that is making headlines on the front page of the Daily Nation is about the KUPPET strike and the promise of pay rise as strike halted. So the Employment and Labor Relations Court has suspended the strike by the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers pending the hearing of a petition filed by the Teacher Service Commission as state
Faraja TV, chemichemi ya furaha.
Well, what is lifestyle? To me, lifestyle is the people, it's entertainment, it's food, it's beauty, it's fashion, it's music, and it's arts. So how do you get to deal with these big topics that are affecting our society? Well, worry no more, because I, Sharon Gige, every Thursday at 7:30 p.m., I'll be bringing you amazing guests, and they'll be able to give us solutions on how to handle these big and disturbing topics at Faraja TV Kenya and all our social media platforms. Thank you.
Yo, welcome guys to the biggest and most exciting show in the 254, where we bring you exciting topics, great music, your favorite artists, and good times.
Join us each and every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Faraja Mashup. It's your boy Big Man Kyuga.
And your boy Big Willie, aka the Big Kahuna.
Kwa majina ni John Mragori, ninaokuletea program ya uzima wa kiroho na nidhamu, na programu yetu ya kujia mnamo siku ya kila Jumapili saa 1:30 katika runinga yetu ya Faraja TV, chemichemi ya furaha. Karibu sana, karibu pamoja, tushirikiane katika uzima wa kiroho na nidhamu. Karibuni na mbarikiwe sana. God bless you. God see you through.
Welcome to the greatest sporting show in the 254. That is the Sports Blast show on Faraja TV, where we'll be bringing you all the discussion and all updates according to sports and sports events.
And of course, we look forward to engaging and interacting with you on our various platforms,
which are on Faraja TV Kenya at Facebook, Faraja TV Media at YouTube, and our SMS line 0703 339959, and our various competitions and events of the sporting sphere.
Remember to catch us live each and every Saturday afternoon from 4 to 5 p.m. whereby I'll be joined by 3 great co-hosts, your boy Big Man Kyuga,
and of course, Mickey Omchambuli,
and Lefty Jizitisa Mgongoni.
One final lung-busting stride for Kipchoge.
So don't miss out on Sport Buzz.
Ujambo mpenzi mtazamaji, karibu ndani ya Fahamu Siasa na Wanasiasa. Hapa tutakuwa tunaangazia masuala ya katiba, uchumi na teknolojia. Vile vile utaweza kufahamu na kujua kazi ya mjumbe wako, seneta wako, MCA wako kila siku ya Jumatatu na Alhamisi kuanzia mida ya saa 3 hadi saa 5. Ukiletewa nami Peter Mohoro. Usikose kutazama Faraja TV, chemichemi ya furaha.
Siku na mchana nakupa sifa, day and night Lord.
Indeed, tunakupa sifa zote ni kwako Mungu. This is Nuru ya Injili Gospel Show, ambapo tutakuwa tunawaletea amazing guests, amazing artists, inspired ministers of the word.
And we shall be having interesting conversations. It shall be hot, it shall be fire, it shall be rejuvenating right here at Nuru ya Injili. Of course, hii si ya kukosa. Kutakuwa na mixes kali, new song, new bangers, na hii mtazamaji wetu utapenda. Kutakuwa na a lot of fun yenyewe mwenyewe huwezi miss.
I will be your host, Jack Favor.
And I, your co-host, Caroline Jerry.
Alongside DJ Tish.
Every Sunday.
From 6 a.m.
to 10 a.m.
Nuru ya Injili, only at Faraja TV.
What's happening?
It's showtime!
Oh, okay, let's go.
Welcome back, our dear viewers. We are sorry for that technical hitch. Remember, you're watching Morning Update, and we are talking about the current state of the nation. Yes.
Yes, and also the Raila Odinga's AUC candidature. And we asked earlier, what do you think about Mr. Raila, everything that just happened yesterday. Remember, the president officially unveiled Raila Odinga's AUC candidature. So do you think he's going to win, or do you think he's not going to win? So tell us what you think about that. Also remember, you can interact with us. Our social media handles are Facebook, Faraja TV Kenya, YouTube, Faraja TV Media, TikTok, faraja.tv.media, Instagram, Faraja_TV_Kenya. Our SMS number is 0703339959. Also, don't forget to tell us your name and where you're watching us from.
Yes. And also remember that we said the African Union, Mr. Raila Odinga's bid for the African Union seat is going to affect the African politics as well, and also as well as our own home politics, Kenyan politics. And we saw that there could be an alliance between the ODM party and the UDA party coming the 2027 elections. And also we've seen that the president has started making his Nyanza tour today, and also he's trying to also gain the support of Raila's constituencies from today. And also remember that Mr. Raila Odinga has gotten the support of the Nyanza constituency for over 19 years now. So he's a giant when it comes to that political side.
And he's the kingpin of people from Nyanza. And also they still insist that Raila Odinga is their leader, even if he has declared that he has exited the local politics.
Yes, he's the father of Nyanza. The people call him Baba in that region. Yes, so residents upbeat as the president begins 4-day tour of Nyanza. You can find that story on page 4 of the Standard newspaper. Ruto expected to launch projects in Migori today before proceeding to Homa Bay and Kisumu. Regional kingpin Raila Odinga and the Kenya Kwanza leader are now allies. It's official now. Yes. And also we've seen the president going all out to campaign for the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga for his bid for the AUC candidature. Also, President William Ruto begins a 4-day tour of Nyanza today amid high expectations following a newfound friendship with Raila Odinga. Also, the visit comes a day after the president launched the ODM leaders' bid for the African Union Commission chairmanship. Ruto is expected to land in Migori County, where he will launch the Kegonga cluster water project and the Nyere Mapera road, and also inspect the Lower Kuja irrigation project. On Thursday, he will visit Homa Bay, where he is expected to commission 706 million Kenyan shillings Oyugis water project, which is expected to benefit 60,000 households. Also inspect Homa Bay Fish Market, launch the Rusinga Ring Road, and also attend the homecoming ceremony of the Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi. The head of state will also to conclude his tour. He is expected to conclude his tour in Kisumu on Saturday, where he will commission Kisumu Marine School, Kibos Rice Mill, and also Nyabondo Trauma Center. The projects were initiated by retired President Uhuru Kenyatta's regime after the handshake with Raila Odinga. Yes, the president is also expected to attend the homecoming, like I said. Also, the homecoming ceremony of the Energy Cabinet Secretary Opiyo Wandani in Ujunga, Siaya County. Yes, so yesterday, Migori Governor Ochilo Ayoko said it's time to push political differences aside and focus on service delivery. Let me just quote, the president's visit is welcome and we urge you to receive him well, he said. And also, our dear viewers, you can tell us what you think about the upcoming 2027 elections. And also, do you think that the alliance between ODM and UDA is going to work, seeing that we've seen some indifferences in the ODM party?
Yeah, because some of the ODM party members still insist that they are in Azimio la Umoja, but not in Kenya Kwanza government. So we are waiting to see if really ODM are going to form an alliance with the UDA party come 2027.
Yes, and we can also see how the main, we can even call it the ODM bedroom, the Nyanza province. Do you think the people from Nyanza, our dear viewers, do you think that they are going to give in and to support the current president come the 2027 elections? Or do you think that maybe this is going to cause some division in the Nyanza province? Maybe some are going to side with the Azimio la Umoja, which is now being led by Kalonzo Musyoka, and they've termed themselves as Okoa Kenya. So we are just waiting to see if they are going to become Okoa Kenya coalition. And still on the political scene, we can see that Kalonzo Musyoka yesterday, he termed himself as the leader of the Azimio la Umoja coalition, and he was backed by some of the ODM party members. We have failed to reap fully from our constitution, says Azimio. Opposition leaders have decried the failure to implement key provisions of the 2010 constitution. As Kenya yesterday celebrated 14 years since its promulgation, Azimio la Umoja co-principal said corruption and inequality have hampered the full realization of the benefits envisioned by the drafters of the document. And also remember that yesterday, the Kenyan Constitution marked its birthday for 14 years. Yes, so the Kenyan Constitution is now at 14.
Since its promulgation in 2010. Yeah. And it's also another story. It's also the story that is making headlines on the front page of the Daily Nation. Anniversary, Mkangi, who was part of the panel of experts, says politicians derailing implementation of law. And leaders have come out saying that we have the best constitution here in Kenya, but the problem is implementation of the constitution. And August 27, 2010, that was yesterday. It's a euphoric moment. The country witnessed a new dawn when a new constitution was promulgated. That was on 2010, and a constitutional referendum was held in the country on August 4th, 2010, and an overwhelmingly 67% of Kenyans voted in support of the document, widely described as the most progressive in the world. And the 2010 constitution has been credited for some of the country's major changes. Among them, decentralization of resources to the 47 counties and a more independent judiciary, as well as expanded constitutional rights and freedom. And you know, because of the 2010 constitution, we have devolution. We didn't have devolution before, but now because of the 2010 constitution, we have 47 counties, and people have really celebrated this particular constitution, saying that it's the best constitution. But now the problem is implementation. And also we're going to see the hits and misses of this constitution, and the runaway corruption and slow pace of implementation of some of the major constitutional provisions have also hampered the full realization of benefits as envisioned in the 2010 constitution. Also, the two-thirds gender principle has also remained elusive 14 years later, whereas attempts to have the two-third law enacted are stretching all the way from the 10th, 11th, and 12th parliament faced bumpy, right? So even in current, our 12th, the 13th parliament, we don't have the two-third implementation. And also Article 27 and 81 of the Constitution states that not more than two-thirds of members in appointive and elective public bodies are of the same gender. So constitutional lawyer Bobby Mkangi, who served as a commissioner in the 9-member committee of experts on the review of the Constitution, said that the country did well in the first 5 years in putting the hardware in place. He said constitutional offices, county government, among other bodies, were created.
Yes. And also, our dear viewers, you can also tell us where we are at. Because remember, the Constitution has now hit 14 years. Do you think that we are following the Constitution as a country, and also as the leadership of the country? Do you think they are following the Constitution? Because we've seen the current government and also the recent events that transpired, especially after the Gen Z protests that took place in June and July. Do you think that now the people are now conversant with the Constitution, with the Kenyan Constitution? People now know what the Constitution is all about. Yeah, and people are now educated and they can read the Constitution and they can hold the government accountable. So do you think that maybe when it comes to the Constitution now, Kenyans have now also become conversant and aware, and they know their rights as per the Constitution? Because we saw even the Gen Z protests, the Gen Z themselves, while they were protesting, they were saying it was their right according to the Kenyan Constitution. And also remember that Kenya has been termed as the most democratic country in Africa. Yes, so you can tell us, our dear viewers, do you think that when it comes to the Constitution, maybe we are failing, or maybe we still got it, we are following it? Yes, so, and also remember some of the decisions that were made by the president in the recent weeks, even the complete overhaul of the cabinet, and also him also reappointing some of the members that he had dismissed from the cabinet, and they were termed as unconstitutional. And also
the rejection of 2024-2025 finance bill that was really criticized by especially the court people saying that they didn't follow our constitution. There was no public participation in all that. So what do you think about the Kenyan constitution? Are we there, or we are still
we have a long way to go? Yes, you can tell us, our dear viewers. So also we saw that yesterday the opposition leaders, they came and said that some of the leaders and also the government are not following the Constitution. And also Azimio proposed that the Katiba Day be declared a national day, given the significance it holds for Kenya. And also remember that the Constitution 2010, it was made official during the rule of the late former president Kibaki, Mwai Kibaki. Yes, and also the leader said that the Constitution brought hope, citing devolution, protection of human rights, and also demand for good governance. Okay, let me just quote here. Devolution has brought government closer to the people, enabling local communities to have a greater say in their development. Our Bill of Rights has provided a framework for the protection and promotion of human dignity, ensuring that every Kenyan, regardless of their background, can pursue their dreams in a just society. The end of quote. That is what the DAPK leader Eugene Wamalwa, who read the statement at the KM, the Kalonzo Musyoka Center, had to say. Yes. So we are just waiting to see if the Katiba Day will be declared a national day and also a national holiday for Kenyans. You know, Kenyans will have holidays.
And moving on, the DP has shielded away from the DP has not shielded away from criticizing close allies of President Ruto. After brief cessation of hostilities, Ruto allies take on Gachagua. So the Kenya Kwanza government are still experiencing rifts. And after a short-lived ceasefire, President William Ruto's allies in Mount Kenya have taken on Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, responding to the threat that the DP's critics will lose favor with voters. A National Assembly Majority Leader, that is Kimani Ichung'wah and Mwangi Kiunjuri. We have Eric Wamumbi of Mathira, Duncan Mathenge of Nyeri Town, now accuse the DP of blackmail. And Mr. Gachagwa's caution to leaders who are not listening to the ground to change or face the wrath of voters in 2027 has ignited a new storm. And remember, the deputy president said in Kiambu recently, and I just want to quote whatever he said: I go to villages and listen to the ground. Voters have already made serious decisions about 2027, end of quote. So Mr. Ichung'wah accuses the DP of using threats to intimidate his critics into joining his bandwagon on the pretext of fighting for the people of Mount Kenya. Also, Dennis Itumbi, a social media strategist who was appointed the head of creative, economic and special projects last week, has also been on the receiving end over his association with Mr. Gachagua. And I just want to quote what Mr. Itumbi said, and I quote: I have had many meetings with the deputy president. The content of some of those meetings is classified. Others belong to books we may publish or even movies. That is all I can say. End of quote. And also Nyeri Governor Kahiga Mutahi, who is also a very close ally, and we've seen him defending the deputy president, says that young leaders from the mountain, including President Ruto's social media strategist, that is Itumbi, some of the president aides and the Council of Governors, Human Caucus, that is the G7, are the groups fighting Mr. Gachagua. So Nyeri Governor Kahiga Mutahi has accused the Governor's Women Caucus, that is the G7, as the groups that are fighting Mr. Gachagua. And I just want to quote what he said in a quote: the G7 is being fronted by Council of Governors chairperson, that is Anne Waiguru. The truth, however, is that she is strategically placing herself as a possible replacement of the current DP. End of quote.
Yes, so our dear viewers, you can also tell us what you think about that, because remember, with the new alliance, with the new friendship between the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga and the current President Ruto, and also we've seen the President is also set to tour the Nyanza region as well.
A 4-day tour.
Yeah, so do you feel like, and do you also think, our dear viewers, that the Deputy President is threatened by the new friendship between Raila Odinga and the current President? You can tell us what you think about that.
And to some other news now, in the education sector, promise of pay rise as strike halted. The Employment and Labor Relations Court has suspended the strike by the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers, that is KUPPET, pending the hearing of a petition filed by the Teacher Service Commission. Has state promises teachers pay rise by Friday. You can find that story on the back page of the Daily Nation. And the Employment and Labor Relations Court has suspended. They have temporarily suspended the strike by the KUPPET, pending the hearing of a petition filed by the TAC. So the case will be mentioned on September 5. The teachers commenced the strike on Monday and held demonstration. We saw demonstration yesterday in various parts of this country. KUPPET draws the majority of its membership from secondary school teachers. So also the order is an early win for the TAC and the Ministry of Education, which has been keen on schools opening for the third term without interruptions. Some parents have delayed releasing their children to school due to uncertainty around their safety. And some of the KUPPET grievances are the implementation of phase 2 of the collective bargaining agreement, that is CBA. Other demands are conversion of 46,000 contract teachers to permanent terms. And remember, the Cabinet Secretary of Treasury, that is John Badi, said that the government has not enough money to employ 46,000 to permanent and pensionable terms, and also the recruitment of 20,000 teachers. Also, the KUPPET wants the promotion of 130,000 teachers and sorting out challenges affecting the teachers' health cover. Also, remember that the NAT called off their strike on Sunday, And they've said that the TSC, their employer, have shown concern and they've addressed their demands. And the NAT say that the teachers' employer showed willingness to address their concern, and they have addressed 3 out of 4 demands. And they said that the Teacher Service Commission have employed 51,232 teachers and are waiting for 78,000 teachers to be promoted. And also the NAT said that the TSC have sorted the teachers' medical services, and we're still waiting to see if really the KUPPET are going to call off the strike that started yesterday. And you should also know that the Ministry of Education has already disbursed 21.8 billion as capitation to all basic education. And really, if the strike continues, it's going to affect 965,501 candidates who are supposed to sit their exams at the end of that term. And also the Ministry of Education has committed to pay all public school teachers their July and August salaries increment by Friday, in a move aimed at averting further crisis in the sector. So Education says Julius Migosi yesterday said this after the National Treasury released 13.5 billion for the same. And I just want to quote what the Cabinet Secretary of Education said, and I quote, "Is proof of the government good faith and commitment to address teachers' concerns. The Teacher Service Commission has worked around the clock to ensure that all public school teachers are paid their July and August salaries raised by Friday this week." So end of quote. And I continue saying that since yesterday, that is Monday, our field officers have been visiting schools countrywide to assess the status of teaching and learning activities. So I hope that the KUPPET are going to call off the strike. But also remember that the court have temporarily suspended teachers' strike. That is after TSC filed a case.
Yes, and also remember that the KUPPET strike yesterday took another toll, and we also saw the KUPPET, some of the teachers going visiting schools that were open, and they were looking for the teachers who were inside the school, but the teachers, I think they were aware that the KUPPET were coming, so they ran away and left the classes. But the students were the ones who were there to witness the chaos that was happening after the striking teachers came inside the school to look for their own teachers.
Yes, also remember that schools are registered low turnout, and I think this is because of the uncertainty around the strike and also the Ministry of Education.
Yes, and we can also see that on Sunday, the Kenya Secondary School Heads Association, KESHA, asked parents to allow their students to report back to school amid the strike. KESHA, in collaboration with the Ministry of Education and the TSC, would like to assure all parents and learners nationwide that the learners' welfare and well-being will be safeguarded while in the institution of learning, said Willie Kuria, the KESHA chairman, in a statement. And also remember that yesterday, even some of the teachers and some of the principals in schools, they came out and spoke, and they said that there has been a low turnout. The students who are in school, there was a low turnout during the opening of the schools due to the uncertainty, like she said earlier, when it came to the opening of the schools, because the parents, they didn't know if the schools are reopening. And also remember that KUPPET was saying they are going on strike, and NAT had called off the strike as well. So the same story is also making news on the Standard page too. Striking teachers defy court order, series of meetings to end stalemate. Day-long meetings and a court order was what it took to stop the strike, but teachers are still adamant. Also push to have school heads ensure teachers are in school enforced by employer. So that is what is happening. And also, our dear viewers, you can tell us what you think about the KUPPET strike. And also remember, this comes just a few weeks after we've seen the medical practitioners also on the streets striking. And they were striking because of also the demands that were not met by the Ministry of Health. And we've also seen, it was a week ago, I think it was the beginning of this week or maybe last week, we also saw that the deployed police officers who were taken to Haiti, they were also demanding their payments as well, because remember that they were deployed a few months ago as well. So our dear viewers, you can tell us. And we've also seen there was crisis also in the county governments as well, and the governors were demanding money, but the Council of Governor leader, he said that the blame should go to the National Treasury because of the rejection of the Finance Bill 2024 and 2025. That is why we are having the crisis with payments. So our dear viewers, you can tell us, what do you think about that? Do you think that the National Treasury is failing to come up with solutions, or maybe there is no money in the country? Yes, or maybe it's just a failure in leadership as well.
So other stories that are making headlines on the front page of the Daily Nation is about families' agony over missing kin as police defy courts. You can find the story on page 3. Also, storm over NYS firearms order. Experts say unemployed youth could use firearms training to engage in crime. You can find the story on page 10 of the Daily Nation. Also, DCI fails teachers in 15 billion shillings fraud case. Tutors have lost 15 billion shillings in fraudulent schemes, but savings and credit society bosses blamed for the looting are free because a probe by the DCI has stalled for 3 years. You can find that story on page 2 of the Daily Nation.
Yes, and on to entertainment news, we can see Nonini releases song honoring the Gen Zs and blasting politicians. You can find that story on page 3. The singer says creatives should highlight societal issues, and he has collaborated with a couple of talented artists before. The Kenyan US-based rapper Herbert Nakitare, known as Nonini, has released a powerful song titled Offended To. The track condemns the human rights abuses during the Gen Z nationwide protest that occurred 2 months ago. If you want the full story, you can find it on the Standard newspaper, page 3. And on that note, our dear viewers, we are taking a short break, but we'll be back with more, and we are coming to talk. Remember, it's Wednesday. Yes. And on Wednesday, we tackle matters relationship. We are coming back and we're going to talk about online dating. And also remember, you can continue interacting with us on our social media handles. On Facebook, you can catch us, Faraja TV Kenya, YouTube, Faraja TV Media, TikTok, faraja.tv.media, Instagram, Faraja_TV_Kenya, and our SMS line is on the screen. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more.
Faraja TV, chemichemi ya furaha.
Well, what is lifestyle? To me, lifestyle is the people, it's entertainment, it's food, it's beauty, it's fashion, it's music, and it's arts. So how do you get to deal with these big topics that are affecting our society? Well, worry no more, because I, Sharon Gige, every Thursday at 7:30 p.m., I'll be bringing you amazing guests, and they'll be able to give us solutions on how to handle these big and disturbing topics at Faraja TV Kenya and all our social media platforms. Thank you.
Yo, welcome guys to the biggest and most exciting show in the 254, where we bring you exciting topics, great music, your favorite artists, and good times.
Join us each and every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Faraja Mashup. It's your boy Big Man Kyuga.
And your boy Big Willie, aka the Big Kahuna.
Kwa majina ni John Mragori, ninaokuletea program ya uzima wa kiroho na nidhamu, na programu yetu ya kujia mnamo siku ya kila Jumapili saa 1:30 katika runinga yetu ya Faraja TV, chemichemi ya furaha. Karibu sana, karibu pamoja, tushirikiane katika uzima wa kiroho na nidhamu. Karibuni na mbarikiwe sana. God bless you. God see you through.
Welcome to the greatest sporting show in the 254. That is the Sports Blast show on Faraja TV, where we'll be bringing you all the discussion and all updates according to sports and sports events.
And of course, we look forward to engaging and interacting with you on our various platforms,
which are on Faraja TV Kenya at Facebook, Faraja TV Media at YouTube, and our SMS line 0703 339959, and our various competitions and events of the sporting sphere.
Welcome back. This is Morning Updates with me, Vicky Kipto.
Yes, and I am Abona Riri. Remember, you can continue interacting with us on our social media handles. On Facebook, you can catch us Faraja TV Kenya, YouTube Faraja TV Media, TikTok Faraja.tv.media, Instagram Faraja_TV_Kenya.
Yeah, also don't forget to tell us your name and where you're watching us from. And as you know, it's Wednesday, and we are going to talk about online dating. So what do you think about online dating? Have you tried it before?
Yeah.
Do you want to try it? So tell us, what is your experience around online dating? Remember, you can SMS us. Our SMS number is on your screen.
Yes, and remember that online dating, as the name itself says, it's just dating online.
Or meeting people online.
Yeah, through maybe social media handles, through Facebook, through different apps.
Yeah,
and
because
also,
we have online dating apps.
Yeah, and also I think it's just being accessible and also accessing people through social media handles and also through online as well. And there are also some advantages of online dating and some disadvantages of online dating. And we also want to talk about how over the years online dating has changed and it has evolved and it has improved as well. Yeah, because remember in the olden days, I think Facebook was the most commonest app, maybe like 10 years ago. Yeah, so a lot of people, and even some people who have been married, even some of our parents, some of them you could hear them say they met on Facebook. It was just a Facebook friend request, and they're like, okay, let me just like, let me comment, let me say something.
Yeah.
And then that is how they decided, okay, let's meet up. Yeah, because I know a couple who met through Facebook, and they're now married and they have a kid.
Yeah, but you know, right now as we speak, we have online dating apps, where
yeah.
you can just go to the online dating app, you register your personalities and all that, also your preferences, and it will not take time before you have a partner. So it has really become easily, and this has been made possible because of the mobility and also the dissolution of traditional modes of socialization. That means that people use chat rooms and professional dating services to find partners.
Yeah, and we've seen things like blind dates, where you just find somebody online, and maybe they just sent you a picture of how they look, and then you decide, okay, let me just go and meet this stranger, the total stranger who I met online. And I think those are just some of the, maybe there are some dangers that we don't know about online dating. Yeah, and also there are some, you know, there are some things, dangers, and also some of the disadvantages of online dating.
Yeah, and also you should know that most dating services or apps match subscribers based on metrics that include education, professional backgrounds, personal interest, hobbies, values, relationship skills, and life goals. So this website use a range of personality tests and psychological assessment to build a list of traits that individuals seek in an ideal partner. But there is another way that they are matching people, and they use DNA. So the modern era of personalized genomes and DNA-based crime fighting, the new generation of online dating services has added one more parameter. So love is no coincidence. They proclaim promising to provide longer-lasting match based on the science of attraction and also romantic love. So biological anthropologists and neuroscientists are already dissecting the chemical ingredients of love to drive that is romantic love, that include the feeling of security that we achieve when we are attached to a specific mate for the long time. So they are using a DNA to match people so that, you know, the relationship can last longer.
Yes, and I think the same apps, they use also their systems to show compatibility, if you're compatible with someone. So maybe before you even register to the app, there are some few questions that you have to answer. Maybe you can say your nationality, also your likes and your dislikes, and maybe your age as well, so that they can match you up with other people.
Yes, and also what you want, what you're looking for.
Yes, but also remember that, okay, there are also some popular dating apps like Tinder, which is used like worldwide. Other countries also have it, and these ones, they have also enabled people to meet even foreigners and also get into relationship with other people from other nationalities and other countries as well.
Yeah, so you should know that many people are using online dating or online apps to find their better half. It has really become very popular, especially in the era that we are right now, that people don't have time for socialization. You know, people don't have time to go out and look for partners. So they end up depending entirely on these online dating apps to find the one. But also, many people have come out to criticize online dating, saying that it's not genuine. Many people have been scammed through the online dating, and also people have experienced much more negative experiences, such as sexual harassment and also bullying on the online
and
sites.
also stalking. Yeah, because online stalkers, they come from also these dating apps, because it's a complete stranger. And I think one of the disadvantages, the major disadvantages of online dating is deception. Yeah, because a lot of people put fake information out there, fake pictures and everything, and then when you get to meet the person, you're like, no, you didn't look like this, you sent me a different picture, so I assume
that is very common.
Yeah, that is like the most common thing.
Yeah, the information that they give is not genuine, and that is a major problem on these online sites.
Yeah, and even somebody might say they are maybe this age, and maybe they are different, they are older, or maybe they're even younger. People even lie about their nationality and everything. They just say everything fake, and like meeting people like when you meet people physically and you interact with them physically, you get to know them, you get to see, because even sometimes people who maybe they have some issues, some disease, you won't get to know it easily
Through
online. Exactly. So I think some of the disadvantages of online dating is the major one is deception. Yes, because a lot of people are putting fake information out there, also with the filters. You know how the phone works.
Yeah, and also sexual harassment, where you're told to send pictures, and also the kind of language that they use may be a problem. So, but you should not. There are people who have positive stories about online dating who have come out and say that really online dating have worked for them.
Yes, so there are some people who are also genuine and they are also still on those dating apps. Yes, but we've also seen stories of people who met crazy people on the internet. So our dear viewers, you can also send us and tell us if you've had an experience when it comes to online dating. Our dear viewers, our time is not on our side, but we are going to continue with this conversation. So you can send us and tell us, share with us if you've ever done online dating, or maybe you met somebody through the phone and everything, and then when you went to the ground, vitu zilikuwa different. Ulifika site, vitu zikaharibika. You can also share with us, and we are going to continue with this conversation.
Yeah, so let's keep the conversation on. Remember, you can interact with us. Our social media handles are Facebook, Faraja TV Kenya, YouTube, Faraja TV Media, TikTok, Faraja.tv.media, Instagram, Faraja_TV_Kenya. You can also send us an SMS. Our SMS number is on your screen. Don't forget to tell us your name and where you're watching us from. Let's do this again tomorrow from 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. Keep it Faraja TV. Have a lovely day.
Faraja TV, chemichemi ya furaha.
Well, what is lifestyle? To me, lifestyle is the people, it's entertainment, it's